This is the answer key to the February 17th, Module 8 review. So the first question is asking us to complete the table with the equivalent fraction decimal percent. If you look at 85%, that would mean 85 out of 100. So I'll write 85 out of 100. That could be simplified to 17 over 20, but I'll be okay with the 85 over 100. How do we write 85 hundredths as a decimal? It would be 0.85. Another way you could look at 85%, percent means out of 100. You're dividing by 100. So I could cross that percent out and move it over twice to the left. You're dividing by 100 to get 0.85. 1.15 is 1 and 15 hundredths, which is 115 hundredths. And then to write that as a percent, so when you're getting rid of the percent and you want to make it into a decimal, you cross the percent out, move twice to the left. If you're creating percent, you go towards the direction of percent twice to the right. So it becomes 115. But if you look at 115 hundredths, that would mean it's 115%. 5/8. So when you're looking at 5/8, think of 4/8 plus 1/8. Now remember, we talked, they're both actually benchmark fractions. So if you look at 4/8, that equals a half, which is 50%. 1/8 is half of 1/4. 1/4 is 25%. Half of 25 is 12.5. So 50 plus 25 is 62.5%. And then as a decimal, get rid of the percent, move it twice to the left, it becomes 0.625. That's it for the first question. The bar model below shows the answer to which of the following. So select all that apply, which means usually more than one. So if we're taking a look, the first question says 60% of 8. Remember, of 8 means it's out of 8. Is the whole model out of 8? The answer is no. So I would cross out the first one. 8 is 100% of. Now, is this 8 would just be this box. Does that represent 100%? The answer is no. Third one, 60% of 80. Is it out of 80? Is the whole thing out of 80? If each one is 8, then the answer is yes. Is it modeling 60%? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yes. So that is a correct answer. 80 is blank percent of 8. Is it out of 8? No, it's not. Look at the last one. Is it out of 80? Yes. Now, where would 48 show? There's 6 boxes, each worth 8. 6 times 8 is 48, so it's the third and the last one. Now this question says, choose one of the answers you selected in question 2 and explain how the model represents the answer, then provide the answer. So I'm going to go back to question 2, and let's say we want to check the 60% of 80 is. So 60% of 80 is, so I'll type that here. 60% of 80 is, and let's figure this out. So if we're looking, 60% of 80 is 48. There are 6 boxes shaded, which represents 60%. Each box equals 8. So 6 times 8 equals 48. That's how we figured out the value. So 60% of 80 is 48. solve the problem, you may use the bar model if needed. So let's say we're going to solve this. If it's out of 130, that means the whole thing is 130. And if the whole thing's 130, that means each one's worth 13. And the last one's 30. Now it says shade 65%. So I want to choose another color. Let's shade 65%, which means I'm going to shade 6 boxes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 65% means half of this one. So shade up to here. Now remember, half means this gets cut into 5% and 5. And then this is 5%. So over here would equal 65%. And then that would mean that this also gets split. So if you're not sure, half of 13 divided by 2. 2 goes into 13 6 times. 2 times 6 is 12. 1. So add a decimal, 0. And then 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 6.5. So 6.5 on the left, 6.5 on the right. That 13 gets split. So now let's figure out the value of this. So that's 13 times 6. So let's multiply that, and then we're going to add 6.5. 13 times 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have to add 78 plus 6.5. Remember, when you're adding decimals, you have to line up the decimal place. 78 is really 78.0. So we're going to add 6.5 to this. 14, 8, 84.5. So 65% equals 84.5. And then this is our final answer. Now you could also solve this using a proportion, but 65% of 130 is 84.5. Question 5. Solve the problem. You may use the bar model if needed. 56 is blank percent of 70. So if the whole thing is out of 70, that means that I know that each 10% equals 7. Now I have to color to get up to 56. So to color this, I know 7 times 8 is 56. So I'm going to shade 8 boxes. And then this equals what percent? 8 boxes means 80%. So the answer is 56 equals 80% of 70. It's 8 boxes, and that's it. Number 6. Solve the problem, use the bar model if needed. 44 is 20% of what? So I could use a bar model, you don't have to. But let's say we wanted to use a bar model, since it's out of we don't know, that means I don't know what the whole thing's out of. That's the question. But I do know I could shade 20%. So I'm going to shade 20%, and I'm going to label this 20%. Now, remember, it says 44 equals 20%. So what that means is that bottom amount equals 44. So 44 out of 2 boxes. 44 divided by 2 is 22. That means every box equals 22 all the way down. Oops. So that means every box is 22. So 22 times 10 will equal what? All the way down. On the test, just so you're not watching, I would write the whole thing. And then you could say that the whole answer equals 220, and then you could box that. A product is originally priced at $40. It's marked off at 25%. What is the sale price? Sale price means the cost of the item after the discount is taken off. So we could use a bar model. We can also set this up. So what we could do, I want you to think $40. Since I can't really show you work on here, let's take a look. I'm going to set up a proportion. Now, 25% off, what fraction does 25% equal? What benchmark fraction? 1/4. So if 25% is taken off, what fraction are you actually paying for? If 1/4 is taken off, then 3/4 is what you're paying for. So what I'm going to do is I'll set up my proportion as 3/4, 3/4 equals. Now, if the product is originally $40, where would that go? Top or bottom? If it's originally, that's the original price, that goes on the bottom. So 3/4 equals blank over 40. Then what I could look at is 4 times what makes 40? 4 times 10 makes 40. So what would you do multiply the top by? 3 times 10 to get what? 30. So that's $30 when it was originally 40. And if you wanted to do it another way, if you're taking 25% off, that's 1/4. You can also do 1/4 times 40 over 1. And when you simplify that, it becomes 10. That means you're taking $10 off the original price. So 40 minus 10 would be $30. A product is marked down 30%. The sale price is $42. What was the original price? Again, you could use a percent model if you wanted to. You can also do proportions. So if the product is marked down 30%, that means 30% off, you're paying 70%. So it's 70 out of 100. Now we could simplify 70 over 100 with 7 over 10 equals. Now the sale price is 42. What's the original? Since that's the sale price, that goes on top. So blank, that's 42 out of blank. We don't know what the original price is. So now let's take a look. 7 over 10 equals 42 over blank. 7 times what is 42? 6. So then you do 10 times 6 to get what? 60. So if it was $42 on sale, it was $60 original. Now it's time to match the fraction with the percent or decimal equivalent. 3 of the choices are not used. 2/5 comes from 1/5. 1/5 is 20%, so 2/5 would be 40%, but I don't see 40%. Now, then I have to find its decimal equivalent. 40%, get rid of the percent, move it twice to the left, 0.40 or 0.4. 12 over 12 equals 1 whole, which is 100%. 1/8 is half of a fourth. 1/8 is, if a fourth is 25%, half is 12.5%, but I don't see 12.5%. If I get rid of that percent, move the decimal twice, it's 0.125. 3/4 is like quarters, 75%. That's it. Feel free to go back and try any of these problems again. If there's any questions that you really had trouble with, then you can ask in class.